So today over on IGN.com we got our first look at the Stranger Things Secret Lair cards. If you were not aware, we'd already seen this art before when they announced that we were going to get a Stranger Things Secret Lair. I hoped to God we weren't going to get a lot of mechanically unique shit, and this art on the right was going to be the art for Opt or something, where it was like spells being cast by the characters. For example, the guy on the left, this is Hopper from Stranger Things, a police chief who investigates the strange things going on in Stranger Things. Could have been some sort of investigate card or similar. But lo and behold, of course, they are mechanically unique. Now, there's an obvious reason that they're mechanically unique, right? It's because mechanically unique cards will sell better than just art treatments. So I'm assuming we're going to see the same with Fortnite as well. Instead of getting a Fortnite-ified Lightning Greaves or whatever, we're just going to get Fortnite fucking characters, and it kind of sucks. Now, I am going to go into the cards individually in a moment and talk about like how they function and everything, but I also want to point out that these cards will or could, I say could, get a reprint into a Magic theme. So if you dislike the idea of the Magic aesthetic being taken away and, you know, having this sort of like real world shit on them, much the same as how Walking Dead did, we have had since the Walking Dead controversy, because the Walking Dead Secret Lair was very controversial, we have had Wizards of the Coast come out and say that they can reprint these in sort of backwards Godzilla treatment. If you remember, Godzilla treatments were cards that were Magic cards initially in the set, and then you had Godzilla skins of them, reskins of them. Now, people like myself have been saying, like, honestly, I don't mind there being other franchises in Magic. Hell, I actually really like Stranger Things, so it's not a problem to me in the slightest. However, I would prefer we didn't have mechanically unique cards being sold to us in a product for a limited window that then will then not be available afterwards, which creates a secondary reserve list style situation where if you didn't pick them up at the time, you get FOMO, you now can't pick them up later. They have said they can get reprinted though in some sort of Magic the Gathering theme, where you might have Chief Jim Hopper written under here on a little bar like you did with the Godzilla ones, although ultimately I doubt that too, because the reprint is necessary when these licenses disappear from what Wizards of the Coast can do. Bearing in mind that the Stranger Things stuff is leaving Dead by Daylight, a horror-themed multiplayer game, because of licensing issues. I don't know if you're aware of this, but there are games out there that you can't currently get on digital platforms, like the James Bond games, for example, because the licenses were lost by the companies that were selling them. You've got to realise that you can't keep using someone else's intellectual property forever if you sign some sort of contract with them, because there will be a length of time that you can. So we can get Magic-ified versions of these. The other caveat to that, the other problem with that, is that it'll only be in set booster slots at the same rarity. So if these are rare in this case, or if they were mythic coded with an orange little swoosh here, then they're going to be super fucking rare in the set boosters. There's lots of problems with these. Will be legacy legal. Just to clarify, these will be legacy legal. Just like the Walking Dead ones were. Now, on the upside, neither of these cards seem to be powerful enough to be redonkulous in Legacy, where Rick Grimes erred on the side of caution but almost became a Legacy playable card, which was very funny. It still is reasonable to play Rick Grimes in Humans in Legacy. So what do they do? So Chief Jim Hopper is a Boros commander, and 11 the Mage is a Grixis commander. So between the two of them you have access to all 5 colours of Magic. That's not true, I'm being an idiot. This one's red, this one's red, there's no green. Okay, I'm cool with that. 4 color is fine. They have essentially partner, but only partner in a certain way, called Friends Forever. You can have 2 commanders if both have Friends Forever. Referencing the fact that they should be friends forever from the show, the thing that they say to each other and stuff like that. Hopper is a menacing human soldier, so it's got menace, and when it attacks, investigate once for each non-token attacking creature, which is cool because he's investigating a lot in the show. It all makes sense and makes flavorful sense. And 11 the Mage has, your maximum hand size is 11. Cool. And when 11 the Mage attacks, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Then if you have 11 or more cards in your hand, may cast an instant sorcery spell from your hand without paying its mana cost. This all makes sense. I mean, the number 11 isn't that relevant to her in the show, so thematically it doesn't make a lot of sense, but she is called 11, so to have mechanical things reference that is fine. Her drawing cards and losing life is showing off her telekinetic powers do damage her, and they hurt her if she uses them long term, you know, power at any cost sort of thing. And then her being able to cast spells without paying the mana cost doesn't really fit with what she does, but it's abstract enough to be in character because she is the character in the show that has essentially magical powers, even if they are some kind of sciencey based, although that's again up for debate. Honestly, I like the art treatments. Honestly, I like the cards. I don't find them even remotely offensive or upsetting as a Magic player like some people will. My problem with Walking Dead was always the idea of having mechanically unique Magic cards in a box that you are selling for a limited time period, in a limited window. But that's where we're at. They are doing it, and they're going to continue doing it. And ultimately, it's not going to be too damaging. It's just going to be frustrating when people can't get hold of these things in years to come. But I guess they are essentially just commander cards. So even I'm coming around to the idea that really it's just for a multiplayer fun format that no one really takes seriously. I'm still of the belief that the game pieces should be accessible, so that these could command a high price tag in time if they're popular and powerful commanders, which they seem pretty good. Let's talk about that for a second, actually. Is this better than most Boros commanders? Well, in all fairness, this can draw you a lot of cards. In a tokens deck, or a deck that goes quite wide, you could investigate 3, 4, 5 times in a turn. In a deck that cares about the artifact numbers, that's also pretty good and can like bank you some card draw over time. So I like this idea, this card draw here. It's a shame it has to be in red white and can be in a mono white commander, because of course white can't draw cards. It's attached to the other colour that can't draw cards supposedly. That's quite a powerful effect, and I like it as a commander. And 11, it feels very Kess with free value. It feels a little bit Joda, honestly, being able to cast a card for completely without paying its mana cost. Again, pretty reasonable at 4 mana for a 3/5 that attacks, draws you a card, and then casts you a spell for free if you have 11 cards in hand. And it's not difficult to get 11 cards in hand in your average, you know, mid to high tier powered non-CEDH game. So I can see these being popular, and I think it's a shame that they've got partner in many ways. That's the one mechanical thing I don't like. It makes sense from a thematic perspective that they hang out and they're friends and they work together, but it just seems like a bit power crept to be able to have a 4/4 white-red commander that banks you card draw and generates artifacts, and then a Grixis card drawing cast spells for free commander, and they're both in your command zone at the same time. That's a bit dumb. It's thematically on point, and I like that, but mechanically it's just like, this is just a really good pairing. So individually, neither of them is too powerful, but together, I'm still not saying too powerful, but it does give you access to a lot of eggs and baskets to put said eggs in to really murder that metaphor. So what do you think? Are you picking up the Secret Lair? I assume there will be at least 2 to 3 other cards, probably other characters. See, I'm hopeful to see other characters from the show. I just wish they weren't mechanically unique or only getting reprinted if and maybe Wizards feels like it in the fucking set booster list slot or whatever, which is just so dumb. I've been Vince, also known as PleasantKenobi on the internet. I hope you've enjoyed this video or found it at least a little bit useful for unpacking what's going on in the Magic world. If you enjoyed it, smash that subscribe button. I put out a lot of Magic content and Warhammer content, a bit of D&D as well. So you can check out all that stuff by subscribing to the channel through the subscribe button, you know, like you do on YouTube. I know a lot of people tell you to subscribe, but you probably fucking should. Either way, let me know in the comment section below what you think, and I'll see you all soon. Ta-ta for now.